What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the NarikChase channel. I'm your boy NarikChase, and in this video, we're going to be doing another episode of the Streamline podcast. Now, this is episode 102, I believe, of season 3, and I do my seasons in 50 episode intervals. So, welcome. We're at season 3. We just made 100. I think I had talked about the Predator film. Episode 100, I can't remember. Something really cool, fascinating. Go check it out. Streamline episode 100. But before we get into the video, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel. Now let's continue. Now we got some interesting subjects, topics that we're going to be talking about today. 6 topics, which is what I'm trying to gear the Streamline podcast for. Oh, the last episode I did was top 10 ways that they can have a Horizon Zero Dawn multiplayer game. Check that out. I think it's very informative. I gave some pretty good insight on what I think would work for the game. Be sure to leave a comment, of your thoughts as well, because like I said, I think it is an interesting, good idea. But we got interesting topics today, 6 topics. The first topic is Marvel halting the Blade film with Mahershala Ali. Which of course is part of the new phase 5, the MCU. We got the Bros movie and the big controversy around that crap. We got the Bayonetta 3 boycott controversy. G4 is officially dead. A lot of people talked about it. I want to give our thoughts. The Final Fantasy VII remake board game. Interesting. As well as Liam Neeson to star in a new Naked Gun movie. Another interesting. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. For guys who don't know, Blade was actually announced a while back, and Mahershala Ali, a really good actor, he played Cottonmouth, I believe, in Luke Cage. He played in the movie Moonlight. He played in Hunger Games Mockingjay. He played in Predators. The man's actually got some pretty good credits under his belt. And everybody's always wanted to see Blade. A lot of people wanted to see Wesley Snipes come back and return to the role. Me personally, I think he did a fantastic job for the first 3 Blades, but I think he's a bit too old now to come back as the actual Blade. I mean, I think it would be kind of interesting to have his series be part of the main canon, but from the way that the MCU has been structured, I don't think they can get away with it. But right now, the MCU seems like it's going through the same BS that the DCEU is going on. They've had to Marvel has had to push back a lot of the interesting things that they had going on. Deadpool 3. Which was definitely going to be a banger. I still don't understand why they pushed that back. That's like a banger for them. And probably one of the most highly anticipated films that they've announced. The Fantastic Four movie got pushed back. The new Avengers movie, the Secret Wars, as well as the Kang Dynasty, both of those got pushed back. Which kind of interests me as to why, even though I know people really want to see the Blade, these other movies, but I'm like, even though Blade got pushed back, what kind of move is this? Is Blade actually going to be that much, that badass of a movie for them to actually affect the entire roster of MCU films? I'm a bit interested in the reasoning. Now, the director Basim Tariq ended up leaving the project. We don't know what the circumstances are. We don't know if he got fired. He just said screw it. I know there has been a bit of an issue with Mahershala Ali in this development. Like I said, I think the man actually can pull the role. I've seen him in many other things. I think he was decent in what was it? Alita Battle Angel. Even though I really don't like the movie, I think it was decent. But anyways, I'm interested to see where they're gonna go with this. It's like I said, it's kind of hard because the way that they structured the MCU, with they having aliens and stuff, them bringing the aliens to Earth, it's believable now. The interdimensional travel, the way it's been structured, although it could be fine-tuned, is believable now. But how could they get away with like the supernatural element. Yes, they've shown that they have Doctor Strange and magic and stuff, but even with those characters in those movies and with the Scarlet Witch and stuff, it's like, okay, if there's werewolves and stuff, if there are vampires, there's ghosts and stuff, how y'all gonna bring that in when it's not been introduced before? Is it gonna be it's gonna be introduced partly through what they got going on with the multiverse, which is another solid way that they could possibly bring in Wesley Snipes' Blade, but we're not gonna go down that road. But anyways, I'm interested with that. I'm interested in that. And how prominent of a character is Blade going to be in the MCU if his movie is reshuffling, pushing back the rest of them? I would think personally they would probably swap it with like Deadpool 3. Like I said, Deadpool 3 is going to be their banger. So why would Blade be before Deadpool 3 and not the other way around? Because more people are anticipating Deadpool 3 than Blade. But like I said, it is what it is. Those are just my thoughts. Moving on to the next topic, this movie called Bros is having a lot of controversy surround it. Basically, the director came out and was talking about doing the whole stupid woke left crap that they've been doing now. If your movie sucks and people don't want to watch it, they say you're either racist or sexist. And this knucklehead has come on out and said, talking about all the straight people don't want to see the crap, don't want to see a movie about two gay dudes, was that's not really an issue. The problem is when you go into the movie and that movie is sitting here talking shit about you. I don't really want to see that. Why? If we want to be, as an example, why in the hell am I going to sit there and watch a movie that talks shit about black people? I'm not going to support that movie. Why would I go sit there and watch a movie that talks shit about men? Not going to do that. Why would I go watch a movie that sit here talking shit about Americans? Not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense. And that little snippet of the trailer that I saw that was talking about, what was it? The dude was talking about some being straight was like it's like a lost art, or it's extinct or going extinct or something stupid like that. And I'm like, nobody want to see that shit. Now the movie could have been a banger and everything, but when you insult the very customers that you're trying to appeal to support your work, nobody's going to want to support you dumbass. And even when on this tirade, and I've seen so many shows that are doing this now, companies doing this, gaming companies are doing this. A lot of what is going on with Disney, Marvel, they were doing it with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. They were doing it with the She-Hulk series. They were doing it with the Miss Marvel. And they're just going out here and they're just talking shit about the fans and talking shit to the very customers they're supposed to appeal to. Like, nobody wants to support you if you're an asshole. So, Mr. Nicholas Stoller, you and your woke garbage can go sit in the landfill for all I care. But as far as you getting mad about people not supporting your work, either it's going to be two things. One, from what I could tell, from what I've heard, I ain't watched the shit. In fact, I wouldn't know anything about it. But going on how your reaction was afterwards, either the movie just sucked, or it's the woke garbage that nobody asked you for and nobody wants. Which is weird because these people come out and they talk shit about the very people they're supposed to appeal to, but the people that they're catering to don't support them. So I've never understood that. Why would you sit here and make a movie like this thinking it appeals to this big group of people, and that these people that you talk shit about that it doesn't appeal to are thinking they're going to watch it and support it? No. The problem is when you have movies like this, when you have movies about messages and stuff, because like I said, I've watched movies about gay characters. Some were good, some were bad. The thing about it is people gravitate to good movies. That's what people gravitate to. If it's a good movie, most likely it's going to be successful. True, I've seen a lot of good movies that weren't as successful as I thought they should have been. But even still, make a good movie. Don't sit here and tell me that this movie is supposed to be about two gay dudes. Okay, what else is the movie about? That's it. That's your go-to. That's the shtick. Okay, sir, I would like for you to tell me to look into my filmography list and tell me what about my filmography list that are movies that I wanted to watch has that in it. Just that. It ain't like you said, okay, gay dudes and in horror movie, horror, you know what I'm saying, adventure or some stuff like that. Hey, there's Godzilla stomping on his town, and there just happen to be these two gay dudes that's trying to survive. Okay, that makes sense. Hell, I even just recently watched the newest Hellraiser movie, and even though the two characters were gay, I didn't really have an issue with it because it wasn't all in your fucking face. So you got, the thing about it is, just stop with that. Stop. If you're gonna make a good movie, make a good movie. It has nothing to do with, there's plenty of movies, again, where you have gay characters. People don't care about that, but people do care if you're sitting here trying to preach at them about the shit. So, as far as Nicholas Stoller goes, I know he's going out there blaming everybody didn't watch the shit as being homophobic and all of that stuff, but stop doing that. Because you'll never get a fan base that way, you'll never grow your content that way, and you'll never appeal to people. The people that actually matter, which is the majority of people. So, moving on to topic number 3. There's this big issue now about people talking about boycotting Bayonetta 3. As you well know, I don't know if you know, Hellena Taylor voiced Bayonetta the first 2 games. And I played the first game, really enjoyed it, never beat it, need to actually go back to it. And of course, I had the second one come out. And Bayonetta has skyrocketed to one of the most prominent female video characters of all time. At this point, she's only had 2 games. And yes, she's been featured in other things too, but she had 2 prominent games and is already being put up the top 10 worthy as Chun-Li, Katana, Sonya Blade, Princess Zelda, Peach, Lara Croft, Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn definitely made that list too. So do you know how important of a character she is? Both being able to be a very sexually designed character, but also be badass and have an interesting personality too. Come on now. So this actually is a pretty successful series and a very highly anticipated 3. I was very, very intrigued when I seen the trailer for the 3rd game, and I think in the E3 either earlier this year or sometime, I think it was earlier this year I saw that E3. I wanted to do a video on it, but I didn't. But and I went back and I even watched the little anime movie that they had with it. Kind of weird, but I enjoyed it. So especially her, I thought she was pretty badass. But so there's Hellena Taylor was supposed to be reprising the role for the character, and apparently they offered her $4,000 to voice one of the most successful female-led video game series of all time. And from, I think what they said, that overall her character, her franchise has definitely helped put it on the map, because they made about $500 million since debuting, and that was not just the games, like figurines, costumes, events, all types of crazy ass shit. So $4,000 to voice one of the most significant characters in history, in video game history, especially now. I mean, there's a lot of video game characters that are pretty important, but Bayonetta, $4,000. Now, I read through the little thing, they were saying they paid so much for each session of recording. And there's a certain amount doing recording, so I think it was 4 sessions, each one like $1,000 a piece. Now, don't quote me on that. In fact, I do want to be accurate when I do say this. It was saying something about it, just going to have record. Okay, including how wide platforms. One of the most English voice work for Bayonetta games have been recorded under SAG-AFTRA union rules, which currently pay voice actors a minimum of about $1,000 a session, with top actors able to get multiples of that. One source familiar with the Bayonetta games told Axios recording for the lead role has spanned 3 to 4 sessions for release. That's $1,000 for 4, 3 to 4. That's 1,000. So check this out. Michael Holick. This is Axios. I have not. I don't know what Axios is. It's a website. It looks like they do news, and hopefully this is pretty accurate. But Michael Holick, who voiced the lead character for 2008's Grand Theft Auto 4, Nico Bellic, told the New York Times that year that he was unhappy being paid $100,000 for 15 months worth of work on a game that immediately earned $600 million 3 weeks of release. Good God! Now, to this credit, 15 months, $100,000. I don't know, the metrics on all of that stuff. I'm just saying, if again, Grand Theft Auto 4 made $600 million. This man voice acting got $100,000. I think there should be a bit of a bonus for that too, especially. And I've heard that there's been an issue with people taking voice actors as seriously as they do actual acting, which again, that's something I'm gonna have to look up to. But just to say, if Bayonetta, again, a very prompt female-led franchise can acquire, and again, these are just the games, $500 million. Why can't this woman who's helped bring this to the forefront, because her performance as a character has helped bring this franchise to the forefront, why isn't she getting paid more money? Or why is she getting paid having some type of agreement done to her on the back end? Now, somebody did end up she did end up getting replaced by Jennifer Hale, and I did a little digging into her filmography and all of the things that she's been in, and this woman's a veteran. I did not know this woman has done talent for some very, very prominent video games. Knights of the Old Republic as Bastillon Shan. Really enjoyed that character. She's in Overwatch, Mass Effect. She was in Metroid, Bioshock. She's done like dozens of games. She's done movies. She's done television, voice acting. This woman is a vet when it comes to voice acting. Now my thing is, since I do get that there's a set standard for this, and like I said, I'm not sure why the company went this route, and maybe there is a bit more at play than what's been revealed. After all, she did break an NDA to reveal all of this stuff. So, and with Jennifer Hale being such a vet, I was very surprised at all the work that she did. I'm curious, did she take $4,000 too? Did she accept the $4,000? And there's got to be something else going on, but like I said, that I don't know how I would feel about that. I'm a bit loose with, I'm a bit more flexible with stuff like that. Now, I will admit, if I sat there and played a Halo game and somebody else was voicing Master Chief or somebody else was voicing Cortana, I probably would have an issue with it, especially if something like this came out. If I play Gears of War, the person that voices Marcus, because I'm so attached to the series and everything. Like, how would I feel in that position? Like, would I boycott it? I'm not sure, but what they did is wrong. But then again, like I said, could be more to it, and she's just trying to jump ahead of it. But if that is actually what it is true, and I'm like, damn, that's messed up. $4,000, come on now. This woman voices Bayonetta. There's very few other female video game characters that got pulled like that, outside of Lara Croft, Zelda, Peach, and what I'm saying, their own franchises, which would go back to possibly Aloy, Metroid, and Lara Croft. And there are others, but those are like the most prominent ones. So I don't know. As far as boycotting it, I'm not sure. Are you a fan of the franchise, or are you a fan of the voice performance? Because a lot of times the voice performances does lead the franchise. Again, goes back to Master Chief, and Cortana and the people that voice them. They own those roles, and without them, people can change if they want to. The shit's gonna go left. So I guess I can understand. I'm on the fence though. I'm on the fence, but a lot of these companies are making really bad fucking decisions, and if they are trying to cheat this woman this way, it wouldn't surprise me. So, next subject. Okay, guys, let's talk about it. Oh, and my mustache is sitting here creeping in my mouth again. I gotta cut that, but the missus wants me to keep a mustache. But anyway, G4 is officially dead, and I'm not surprised. Now, G4 came out back in the day. I started watching it when it had, Attack of the Show, Cheat, X-Play, really loved it. Hosted by, Morgan Webb, Adam Sessler. Can't remember that sexy woman from Cheat, Olivia Munn. They had some really good stuff back then. And they ended up going off and then come back on YouTube. And I was stupid because I was late to the game on YouTube, and then when I got on YouTube, within the last 2 or 3 months is when I found out that they had a YouTube channel. But then they stopped, and now they came back, and then of course there's the big controversy of Miss Frost and her stupid rant. Now I'm not gonna put the rant in the video because you can easily pull it up, and I'm quite sure if you've seen other videos about this, they've also shown it several thousand times. But in her rant about sexism and gaming, she's an idiot. Sexism is like sales in gaming as it does in anything else. A lot of most successful franchises, because yes, there's a bit of sexism that sells the gaming. Think about all of the all of the female characters in games like Soul Calibur, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken. They're physically fit women, and people like that stuff. Just like if you sit there and look at the physically fit men that the women will potentially like. So the dudes were looking at the females as well. And also, again, it didn't hurt that the women were beautiful and everything in the original G4 and X-Play and all of that stuff, but they actually were pretty likable people. That's what I helped to sell too. But she had that, and that just put a big stain on G4, especially that coupled with Adam Sessler. And I know, again, people pull up his tweets about people that were voting Republican, his family were voting Republican. He hoped some stupid shit happened to him. And I did have a good amount of respect for Adam Sessler because I liked him as a host, and then just kind of seeing him fall into this whole going with the flow with this whole woke stuff just kind of really turned my stomach on it. So I mean, you like people until they show you their politics and stuff, but it's just how you come off as being just basically a dick, and pretty much that's what I see with this. And I've been keeping up with it here and there, and I haven't been liking what's been said. I haven't liked the presentation and the direction that G4 is going. They're doing all this social commentary. Nobody want to hear that shit. All we want them to do is talk about video games. And my whole thing was, review games, do streaming, and possibly stream with other YouTubers and bring them. Hey, have a YouTuber come in once a week and y'all stream and y'all have conversations. That's how you That's how you interact with your audience. But like I said, and it wasn't just Frost, but she did highlight it. She did put a spotlight on them with how bad. And then the thing is, I'm looking at this woman. I'm of course she would fucking say something that stupid. And she's doubled down quite a bit, to the point that when G4 started firing people, which is very unfortunate, this dummy comes out with a tweet talking about she survived because she's such a narcissistic asshole. And then what happened, whether this was the final straw of her actions or an inevitable result of the company going under, she got let go. And she's been playing the victim card ever since and blaming everybody else but her, at least on how her getting fired. But it's no, you put this bad spotlight on you because you're an asshole. And what you should do, even though it probably wouldn't help, is to admit what you did was stupid, wrong. It helped. It definitely helped to the company go under, especially when you said if you don't like it, don't watch it. And guess what? A lot of people didn't like it, and a lot of people didn't watch it. Quite sure that's a train, but but anyways, it's most unfortunate. G4 actually had the potential to come back stronger than ever, have a great way of interacting with different people, but it's just a missed opportunity that we'll never see again. But anyways, y'all hold on 1 second because the train's coming. Okay, it sucks standing next to a train track. But anyway, moving on. So check this out. All right, Final Fantasy VII Remake board game. Huh? Look, I just recently found out that Final Fantasy had a card game, and I'm still trying to get it and find the cards for that so I can get in, try to learn how to play that. But anyways, a board game. Now, apparently board games adapted from video games is a thing. Apparently there's one for Resident Evil and Horizon Zero Dawn, which I'm interested, kinda. But let's just kind of dive into this a little bit. I'm like, Final Fantasy VII Remake was one of the most highly anticipated video games of all time, especially given how important Final Fantasy VII is to the video game world, as well as the Final Fantasy franchise. Final Fantasy VII debuted in '97 for the PlayStation 1 from Square Enix, or if you want to say Square Enix. And one of the best Final Fantasy games of all time. It came out with a prequel, came out with a sequel, came out for a sequel movie, then came out with another prequel to the prequel of the first one. They had a whole omnibus, I can't remember, Final Fantasy World Collection thing, where they expanded upon it. The video games have debuted in other video game franchises such as Super Smash Bros., as well as Kingdom Hearts, and a number of other things as well, and garnered so much attention and throughout popularity. They came out with an eventual remake, as well as second parts of that remake, and a remake of the Crisis Core, which was a prequel to the original game. Yeah, that's a lot. But, you know, Final Fantasy has dipped into a different medium, and this doesn't really surprise me. I think it's an interesting move. I think that it could be something potentially good, especially for people that enjoy board games as well as people of the actual franchise. And I'm interested to see how this game would play. It's supposed to come out, be released next year. I couldn't find on who would be developing it, but I'm kind of I'm kind of interested in seeing where they're going to go with this as well. There's supposed to be another one as well called Chocobo's Dungeon, which is supposed to be based off a game called Chocobo's Dungeon. That's a spin-off of the Final Fantasy series, and I'm interested to see where that goes because Chocobos are freaking awesome. Who in the hell would not love to ride a giant chicken? But this isn't, like I said, this isn't the only video game series or franchise to actually have it. Again, Horizon Zero Dawn, Resident Evil, The Witcher, and The Witcher also got Gwent too, because Gwent is actually a fucking awesome ass card game. Y'all should jump on that. But even so, Final Fantasy, even though they have their card game, I even came to find out that Final Fantasy is actually going to have cards implemented into the Magic the Gathering card game. And I'm like, Final Fantasy is in every fucking thing. So that's pretty cool. I couldn't get really any specifics on it. Is it going to involve? Is it going to involve like cards, like specific as a card game? Would it be dice? Is it going to be PvP? Is it going to be co-op? Just there's a lot that could go with this. I think one of the board games off of a franchise that I played before, and it's been a while, was the Goosebumps one. That's been quite a while, next to Monopoly. But I think that'd be interesting. I wouldn't mind checking it out, see what they got going on with it, especially since it's based off one of my very, 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 very favorite video games of all time. Final Fantasy VII is top 10 for me. But, moving on. So, I'm on the fence about this, and I'm always on the fence about this. I do try to give shit a chance, but this is one of those times I'm like, Hollywood is running out of ideas. And I think that does have something to do with, because there's so much competition when it comes to making movies. A lot of areas are being covered, and it's kind of hard to cover these areas when there's like thousands and thousands of companies making movies. But for them to reboot Naked Gun and cast Liam Neeson, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, I'm a fan of Liam Neeson. I'm not really been as big into his latest movies because they typically are the same. He always plays this operative that knows everything, is a badass. He's the old, but he's just like the weapon. I think the height of that was the first Taken movie, which it was great, fantastic movie, and it was good to see him be like an older badass dude, spec op type guy that had to go get his daughter back from terrorists and all types of crazy stuff, which he does, and it's a badass movie. And every movie after that, he's pretty much doing the exact same thing. Walk Among the Tombstones, Non-Stop, the other two Taken movies, and I want to say there was at least one or two other movies he plays that same type role. So he's kind of fallen out of favor with me because of that the repetitiveness of it. Basically, he's like going down the same road as Bruce Willis, Steven Seagal, fucking Sylvester Stallone at this damn point. But I guess this is a change of pace. He's going to play in a comedy spoof. One of the funniest, a reboot of one of the funniest comedy spoofs in history. Now, Leslie Nielsen played in the original three movies that came out in 88, 91, 94. Naked Gun from the Files of the Police Squad, The Smell of Fear, and The Final Insult still hold up today as being funny because the level of wackiness, corniness, and definitely a lot of intelligence behind the writing, and as well as Nielsen's performance. Great movies. They still hold up to today. Now, the guy that's going to be directing this film is Akiva Schaffer, and he's doing a bit of research. I found out he's done a lot in terms of comedic type projects. He directed Hot Rod, The Watch, which I hadn't seen The Watch yet, but I wanted to. Pop Star, and Chip and Dale, which I heard Chip and Dale was actually a good movie, so that's on my watch list too. But he's done, I don't know if you guys heard of The Lonely Island. What was it? I just had sex and I'll never go back. Like those guys, I think one of them plays in the show Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think that's what it's called. Because I know that guy, he played in, what's the movie with Adam Sandler? He had found out he had a son, and he was just like a shit dad. He actually basically acted like he does in pretty much all his movies. I can't remember the name of it, but that guy, he's in that island, and I think Justin Timberlake was a part of it. I think so. But anyways, so he's jumped into a whole bunch of, like, a lot of his career has been comedy, and the music videos for The Lonely Island are pretty funny. They're pretty funny. I like them. They're enjoyable. The songs are actually pretty catchy, and the music videos themselves are actually pretty funny. So I'm on the fence. Like I said, I haven't seen any of his movies, but like I said, I do like the music videos because I think they are funny. And based on those, I think he actually has the potential to capture some of the magic of the Naked Gun series because of the wackiness of it, but the intelligent writing behind it. Paramount's developing this, and I like reboots and stuff, only if that makes sense. The Naked Gun, I feel like, isn't a franchise that you should be able to reboot because Leslie Nielsen, and I guess they figured out the reason why he got cast for it, because the fucking names sound the same. You see him sitting here trying to say one, and I say the other, and then I have trouble with it. Liam Neeson, Leslie Nielsen. But anyways, I think this is one of those franchises that shouldn't really get a reboot. I just think this should just, that's like if somebody said they're gonna make a sequel to or reboot an Airplane, and I'm like, that doesn't make a sense. Make any lick of sense, really. But as far as if he was just gonna make a comedy and have Liam Neeson, I would be more interested in it just being a comedy featuring Liam Neeson, as maybe have it like The Loaded Weapon. Maybe have it like The Loaded Weapon is another one. I don't think you can make a sequel to that one, but it was funny. It was clever, it was intelligent, but it was funny, and he had really good performances by Samuel Jackson and there's one guy I always forget his freaking name, the one that played in Young Guns. But as far as this going, I think this is basically just going to be they're using the name of the franchise to push the movie, and if they get some backlash, I could kind of see why. Because like I said, this is one of the franchises that doesn't need a reboot. It doesn't need a sequel. It was good with the 3 movies that it does have. And if I'm saying it, and I'm open about stuff like that, probably shouldn't make it. But I would be sold more on them saying, hey, we have an original cop comedy that's coming out. It's going to be like a spoof or whatever. It's going to be featuring Liam Neeson, and the reason why, because he always plays serious roles, and it would be nice to see him in a comedy role. I think there was a movie that came out in where he was like in a romance, but it's kind of hard for me to distinguish him in any other role outside of Qui-Gon Jinn and his role in Taken. But it'd be nice to see him play something else. And like I said, I do have a thing with actors where they always play the exact same role every time you see him in a movie. But okay, if he can play this and pull this off, I'll be interested. He's a great actor, don't get me wrong, but I haven't really seen him play like comedic type stuff. It's mostly been serious stuff, or perhaps dramas or something like that. But I mean, he was in that movie The Haunting, so she's been in at least one scary movie. So okay, like I said, but as far as it being a Naked Gun movie, I really don't want it to be, because like I said, you're just using the name of that franchise to make your shit. So, but anyways, guys, that is the end of Streamline today. We talked about a lot of really interesting topics. Got interrupted by the train again. We talked about Marvel halting the Blade movie development, the controversy surrounding the Bros movie, massive failure box office wise, the controversy around Bayonetta 3, G4's controversy, Final Fantasy VII Remake board game, still an interesting way to go, and Liam Neeson going to be the lead in the Naked Gun reboot. So in the comment section below, guys, let me know what your thoughts are on these topics. Did you agree with any of my points? Is there any necessary information that I didn't receive or even talk about that I probably should know about, or could potentially be pointed in a direction to get more clarification on or information on? Be sure to subscribe, that notification button, to get the best of what we got going on this channel, and we'll definitely catch you guys later.